Hi everyone, it's Becky here from the collections team at Harewood. Now, because it's BE Day this weekend, I thought I'd give you an alternative tour of the house to show you what it was like to live here during the Second World War. Shortly after the outbreak of war in 1939, the 6th Earl of Harewood and his wife, Princess Mary, offered up their home for use as a convalescent hospital, which is actually what the house was used for during World War One as well. But this time the house was to be used for officers specifically. So the entire west side of the state floor was used, the walls of which were all boarded up to cover the pictures and the decoration. Here's a picture of the gallery that was converted to a ward. I think it looks a lot smaller than it does now, and obviously there's no sign of the Chippendale pelmets or the old masters. It's kind of hard to imagine what the soldiers must have thought laid up looking at the remarkable Robert Adams ceiling above. And the second floor of the house, which is now the private apartments, these were all used as ward spaces too. This is one of the bedrooms being used. Apparently the wards up on the second floor were all named after mythological figures. And this chap here actually looks quite pleased with himself, but it must have been quite strange, I think, to come from the hardships of war to being, surrounded by Dutch paintings and the grandeur of Harewood House. But it wasn't all hard work, and here's a lovely picture of the steward's room, which was the nurses' dining room being used for Christmas dinner. And one of the traditions that kind of emerged was that roles would be reversed during this time, and soldiers would actually dress up as nurses and serve their carers dinner, which Princess Mary often accompanied to. And there were various forms of entertainment for soldiers as well. So, for example, we know that there was a ping pong table in the sub hall, now the terrace gallery, and there was a billiard table as well. And every now and then the soldiers would be able to watch a talkie, so a film with sound accompaniment watched on Princess Mary's own projector. And there were music concerts and obviously dances as well. Dances were called hops, and they would have taken place in the cinnamon drawing room. And actually, the matron would have found out how many soldiers intended to take part in the dancing, and she would provide the same number of VADs to partner the soldiers, all having passed a strict dress inspection, of course. I think Harewood was a real place of healing during this period, particularly with the natural resources that it could offer patients for their rest and recuperation. So, for example, we know they enjoyed boating on the lake, going for walks around the estate, cycling, even sunbathing on the archery border, for example. And as a yardstick for recovery, many patients actually set themselves the challenge of walking the mile-long drive up to the Harewood Arms, and we actually know that many of them missed the 11 o'clock curfew to get back to the house, and as such having to climb back in through windows.